Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and tonight we have a very special and important show. We will be breaking down Dynasty 101, what to do, how to join one, what is a Dynasty League, and how much fun is it over redrafts. Before we get into that, let me introduce you my hosts and, of course, the greatest Dynasty player of all time. Speaking about at Viking Dave, what is going on, Dave? What's going on, Justin?
I need you to stop trying to hype me up like that. Now you're going to get me going. I don't need that right now.
Listen, honestly, I meant every word of it. A lot of you people, all you experts out there, you downplay my buddy. Seriously, you do. He's one of the brightest minds out there in the business. He doesn't spread his knowledge much on Dynasty because he wants to keep on winning. But if you need to talk trades, you talk to Dave. Everyone knows that. Everyone goes to Dave.
Except when Dave's trying to trade with you.
It's never fun when Dave sends you an offer.
Every time I see an offer come in from Dave, I'm just like, what in the hell is he about to send me?
No, but you know what it is though, and I'm gonna pump him up one more time. When Dave sends you a trade, you know it's legit, and you know you can get something done eventually. That's the one thing about him.
I just got to work on it, tweak it.
We worked on a trade for like what 3 or 4 months. I feel like if you go back, it's the same two guys.
Yeah.
Like we're just negotiating for the last like 2 months.
And then the other day I sent him a trade. I was like, you know what? I want that guy again. Let's get those trades going again. And a couple minutes later, we got it figured out. It was actually not too far apart. So.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that. Like, of course, we're going to talk about some news, some recaps of what happened this week, and maybe some trades that we made. We'll get into that a little bit later, guys. But before we get into that, make sure you check us out on Twitter, X, on Instagram as well, and TikTok at OUSFFPod. Make sure you go to our website, OUSFFPod, where we're really, really working on our rankings weekly, updating them as things change, like the Rashee Rice move. I know I'll be moving him down in my boards. I know Justin will as well. We're on the Finstock Sports Network. Make sure you follow us on YouTube there, as well as OUSFF Pod. Ooh, did I miss anything, Justin?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
People still
YouTube.
use Facebook. People still use Facebook. Dave, do you still use Facebook?
A little bit. Mostly for family stuff.
I don't.
You know what I don't have any family associated with me? Is Twitter. That's where I say the wild stuff that I don't want my family to know.
I have a couple coworkers that follow me on Twitter, and whenever I'm not responding to them, they just go to my Twitter and look at it, and then they respond saying, "Stop talking about fantasy football," and answer my message. I'm like, ooh.
That's what people do to me in Dynasty leagues when they send me an offer and I don't respond in like 4 days because I have a million leagues, which we'll talk about not doing later. They hit me up on Twitter. Yo, I sent you an offer. Guess what, guys? I don't read my DMs either. So
what league? Like what league?
Yeah, exactly. What league? You know what I've been doing lately? Giving people my phone number. Just text me, bro. Like just text me. I do, and they actually do text me. So it's actually way better than Twitter. Anyway, yeah, go follow us there. We're there all the time. Let's get right into it. We have some news. We'll get right into the news. Rashee Rice, we just told you he's fine. Don't worry about it. Yada, yada, yada. They went out and drafted a rookie. They also have Hollywood Brown. Now things are looking a little bit worse because he's in trouble again by punching someone in the face. This is on top of what already happened. Do we see him play football this year? I think we do. But Dave, do we see him play football this year? He's in shock. He doesn't know.
Absolute shock. Or he doesn't realize you asked him a question. One of the two, but
my freaking internet is trash right now. So no, I did not hear that last question.
Oh, good. Does Rashee Rice play football this year?
Yes, 1,000,000%.
I think so too.
Who's the last guy's got a full season suspension? That's not happening.
Calvin Ridley,
but that was gambling.
I mean, there's been guys,
bunch of guys, but
guys that we don't know about because they're not relevant, like fantasy relevant. But
yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Exactly.
Well, Calvin Ridley was, but yeah.
Hi, Kathleen.
So yeah, I mean, chances of them actually getting suspended for the entire year are probably slim, sadly. Should he get suspended for the year? Yeah, but will he? Probably not. Like probably 4 to 6 games is what I would guess personally. People are going to push him down on their rankings, but in Dynasty, I'm not pushing him down my rankings. Really, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, you just made a trade for him. I'm pretty upset about it because I've been trying to trade for that guy from that same person pretty much all offseason. And he wanted first. He wanted this player.
He did.
He's like, I need 2 Higgins in a first. I'm like, hold up. Like, what's happening? And you get him for nothing. Literally nothing.
As soon as he said, I want to get him off my roster, I was like, I'm jumping on this before anyone else can because I know Josh is going to jump on this as soon as he can. And I was just like, here you go. Done.
So tell me what you gave up.
Oh God, now you're gonna ask me questions.
Well, that's the next thing on my
that's fair.
That's literally my next thing on my sheet.
Almost like I wrote that recap, like what to do.
It's almost like a transition to it.
I got him and a 2027 4th-round pick for Jacoby Myers and a 25 second-round pick. I probably overpaid, I'll be honest, but
so you gave up Myers in a second.
Yeah, for Rice, and I don't use my draft picks really anyway. So,
Dave, is that an overpay?
No,
Exactly.
You got him for free. What are you talking about? Like, you literally got the guy for free. There's no downside there. Worst case is you lost a 2nd-round pick.
I don't need him to start.
If he doesn't even play, if he doesn't play a game the rest of his career, you gave up a 2nd-round pick. Who cares? You can easily that's.
So I don't need him to start at all. And actually, he was able to go into the taxi squad because in this league you can put players up to their 2nd year on taxi. So
wait, even if they hit your main roster, that's a bullshit rule. I'm just calling that out. If they hit your main roster, they shouldn't be able to go back.
Everybody hits your main roster. It's once you take them out of the taxi, you can't put them back in.
So whoever had him last year didn't take him off the taxi.
They did, but he wasn't in my taxi.
See, that's why.
That's sleeper rules. I can't control.
I don't like that rule.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah,
but hey, it is
what it is. Either way.
Every league has different rules.
Yeah,
and that was a big topic. That was a huge topic in my world last week. We had someone quit my league.
So dramatic.
People hated you.
This isn't a show, by the way, where we're just jerking off about our trades and about our leagues. All right, we're gonna get into the main things, but we did make an interesting trade between me and Dave, so we have to talk about it on the show. And I got clowned, and I deserve it, but I don't care.
It was an even trade, and you know that.
No, go ahead and say the trade because everyone not one person besides me said it was a good trade for me.
I don't know why people are tripping.
Is this the one that Dave posted?
Yeah, it is. And Dave's playing stupid right now, like acting like he didn't get over, which I know he did.
Listen, I don't think I got over. I think I told you the best part about the trade was me going from 12 to 8. And I am. That's because I'm hoping to get one. I mean, I'm definitely gonna get one of the top 8 guys. I feel like there's a break after that. So I'm gonna get whoever it is, whether it's Odunze or Bowers or JJ McCarthy, whoever it is that falls to 8, I'm gonna be happy with that. A little bit more than I would have been at 12. That's all.
So to break down for the listeners and the viewers, we had a big trade go down, huge blockbuster. I received Justin Jefferson, 112, and I believe like a 3rd-round pick.
And Ingram.
And Evan Ingram. And I gave up, and I gave Dave CeeDee Lamb 108. Kyle Pitts, which I don't. If he does something cool, right? I don't expect it. And 210.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's like, Josh, you lost across the board. CeeDee's better than Justin Jefferson because of the quarterback situation. 108 is obviously better than 112. Obviously, the 2nd-round pick's better than the 3rd-round pick, and Kyle Pitts is better than Evan Ingram. Those are two lies and 2 truths. It is. It's 2 lies and 2 truths because Justin Jefferson's better than CeeDee Lamb. I don't care what you have to say about it. If you want to hear about Justin Jefferson, go to our short on YouTube. Go to our short section where I made a video about Justin Jefferson. And Evan Ingram's better than Kyle Pitts. I don't care about age. People are like, age this, age that, which we will get into the Dynasty portion of this broadcast. Just because a player is 3 or 4 or whatever years younger doesn't make him X times more better because of the age. It's ridiculous thinking on our end. Evan Ingram is 30 years old. Kyle Pitts is what, 23?
Something like that. I don't know.
Did a helicopter just drive by?
You guys getting thunderstorms down there in Florida?
I
What is going on?
said I don't know.
Okay, Dave.
You asked a question. I said I don't know. What are you getting like thunder from?
So the fact that Kyle Pitts is a lot younger than Evan Ingram, I'm looking at I need 3 years from this tight end. Same way I look at running backs. Give me 3 years. If I get longer, cool. But how often? First off, we'll get into this. How long do dynasty leagues last? Right? Do they usually last about 10 years? Well, the majority fold. That's a fact. So I play within the win now, next year, and the third year. And hopefully the fourth year we still continue. Dave, how many leagues are we in that we have leagues that go that long?
Our leagues have been going. My leagues,
Because
have been
we
going
have
for a while.
Because we have a good core.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. But we also have a bunch that are falling apart because half the leagues like, yeah, I'm not into this whole thing, off-season thing, and they're just like, I'm out. And then finding replacements every year, 2 to 3. That's annoying.
So we're going to talk about that. Man,
Yeah, we will.
ways to avoid that.
We're gonna get there. So that's our trade. Rate, comment in the chat who got over. Tell me I'm an idiot.
Josh
Don't worry.
got over. He always gets over. Remember that trade where I gave you Jalen Waddle and you gave me Mac Jones?
Yeah, I gave you Mac Jones and I got Jalen Waddle.
So can we not talk about how I always get over on you? Because that's
I know it's not the case, but people think that's the case. People think you always get over.
People think all like people won't even. So I literally have friends in my home leagues that won't trade with me because they just see a trade from me and just delete it. Like no matter what, I'm like, can you read it? I'm giving you like, ugh, it's annoying. Whatever.
And I do want to say this because there's one person that's listening that trashed me on Teams at work a couple days ago. I saw Justin Jefferson in the trade. I accepted. I didn't read the rest. That's a fact.
And you know what's funny? And I told
did
you
that today.
You accepted it. I said I kind of wanted you to decline it. Like I know I had a good deal. That's just why I was okay sending it. But I was super okay if you declined it. Like
you said, Josh, I sent you a trade. Guess what happened 2 seconds later? I accepted it.
He did.
You texted me and said, you texted me and said, I sent you a blockbuster. I opened up the app. I saw Justin Jefferson. I hit accept. I didn't read anything else.
I was like, holy shit. Okay.
I did the same thing today. I sent Jordan Love for what I thought was 2 firsts and a second round pick, and then like a 4th round this year. It was 1 first and 2 seconds. And this is what happens when like 8 people try to send you trade requests at the exact same time.
It happens.
Anyway.
All right, man. Let's get into Dynasty 101. All right. So what is Dynasty? How long have we been playing? Let's go right into it. Justin, I know how long you've been playing, but tell everyone else. How long have you been playing Dynasty?
This is my 5th year in Dynasty. Started 2019. I'm a pre-COVID Dynasty player. Not many of them out there these days. Barely a pre-COVID. I played 1 full season before COVID, so we're good there. Right. But yeah, been playing since 2019, and I have a couple championships to follow that.
Dave's the dinosaur in the group. He got me into Dynasty. How long have you been playing, sir?
I honestly don't know the first time I played Dynasty. It's been so long. It's been more
Jacob
than 10
probably
years.
wasn't born.
Producer
Jacob.
He might not have been born. I don't even know. I might have been playing. I'm trying to think how old if my son was born yet.
Were you playing in the 90s or early or like 2000s?
Oh, I was playing fantasy football in the 90s, but I don't think I was playing Dynasty yet. So it's within the last 20 years, but still, it's been a long time.
Dave got me to take over an orphan, and I had 102 in my first year. I don't know the year, but when Le'Veon Bell came out, I drafted him 102. So that year.
First year.
Yep, that was my first
that was
year
a long time ago, and I was
Oh.
playing longer than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're the you would say we're the experts on this subject. We've been playing for a long time, but we did notice, and I noticed this on Twitter and in the fantasy community, you would listen to the Fantasy Life Matthew Berry, you'd listen to the footballers or whoever you would listen to mainstream. None of them covered Dynasty. During COVID, all of a sudden, everyone started dabbing into the Dynasty pool, and everyone got into it. Now this is this huge thing, but what happens is a lot of players join, a lot of players want to get into it. A lot of players don't really know what to do or how to run it or what the rules should be. And honestly, the fact is there is no rules. It's a Dynasty league. Make it your own. But there are certain situations, certain things that we need to learn before we join one. So How is this different than a keeper league? Because a lot of people are like, do you keep these players forever? So what's the difference in a keeper and a dynasty? Anyone?
I mean,
Well, I
that's
mean, it's
No, go ahead.
simple. Keeper leagues, you get to select how many ever people there are. Some leagues do 1, some do 2, 3, or 4. You just keep those players each year. But they're not like you keep the same players. You just keep a player on that roster for the next year, and you reserve him, and he becomes one of your draft picks. Some apps do like your first couple picks are your keeper picks. Some apps do like the round you got him in the previous year is where you get him this year. There's different rules, but Dynasty, it's you keep this roster year in, year out. You can make cuts just like NFL teams. You can make trades like NFL teams, waiver wire, free agent pickups, all that. So it's closer to like what the NFL has.
Is it just me?
No, I
Okay.
can't hear him either. So
I was like, well, my connection's really bad if this is happening.
this is gonna be a great edit and post. It's gonna be so fun. He's just blurry, and then like
I know. I saw him go blurry first, and I was like, okay, is that
I was
me
like,
or
oh
him?
no. Josh Tuck.
He's out.
Oh
live.
god, this is just a you and me show again, isn't it? This is gonna be
Sounds
great.
like
It's
that,
fine.
Maybe
It's
he can
fine.
pop out and pop back in. We'll be good. You
Yeah,
got the
we'll see.
directions.
We'll see. We can figure this out. It's fine. So yeah, Dave. What kind of apps do you use for Dynasty leagues?
Well, now it's just Sleeper. I was been on my fantasy league for a lot of years, and I loved it. I honestly have. But the fact, is he back?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah.
Let me
All
tell
right,
you.
we're gonna
Hold on.
yeah. You talk about your internet issues.
No, I'm not talking about my internet issues. I don't have issues, but I came home today from lunchtime. There was about 8 Spectrum trucks down my road all day today. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're just burying in lines, 8 trucks. And I'm like, am I going to lose internet today? No, you should be fine. Hasn't worked well since. Stupid Spectrum. So what were we talking about?
So for the clean cut, so I can edit this a little bit better, we started talking about applications that you can use. So let's get this one clean. So guys, what kind of apps do you use to play Dynasty football? Dynasty fantasy football?
Well, as I started to say before Josh rudely interrupted us, Sleeper now is the thing. And I haven't been a huge Sleeper fan, honestly, but my fantasy leagues just dropped the ball. The thing is you can do so much, but it's almost like oversaturated. Like the things that you can do to it, a lot of it's just unnecessary. And Sleeper is just simple. So it's kind of where I've moved all my leagues, which I didn't think I ever would do. Because again, it's not my favorite, but it's a lot cleaner and less like clunky, I feel like. So it's Sleeper time for us.
Yeah,
so
Dynasty got me. They got me introduced into Sleeper. Dynasty leagues did. I used to be ESPN only, and then I moved to Sleeper. You guys got me to MFL once, and I'll be honest, I hated it. It seems like there's companies out there that like they developed their fantasy site in like 2000, and then they just stopped. They were like, we're done. This is it. This is perfect. This is gold. We'll never touch it again, and we're going to charge all these people to use our application. But Sleeper is designed by a tech company, so they're constantly trying to make integrations and new stuff and new updates, and they're keeping things fresh. So yeah, I'm only in Sleeper now, and if somebody asks me to be in a non-Sleeper league, I just tell them no.
So MFL is still the GOAT. MFL is still the best Dynasty site out there. App, website. It really is. It stinks that they still charge us $60 a year per league, and they don't update anything. They don't do anything. Matter of fact, they made an update last year, and it made the site worse, actually. Dave knows that. It was worse last year. But it's the most customized place. Actually, we're talking about doing a startup now, and what we're going to do is run our auction on MFL because they have a way better auction system. But still, every time a player is won, we just enter it in the Sleeper League, and then we'll delete that MFL league afterwards because their auction system is by far the best. Sleeper still way behind on that. The fact that we can't have victory points or over on Sleeper as well stinks, which we'll talk about that in league scoring on that section. But Sleeper's great for the new people that want to get introduced into Dynasty. Now, once
so
you
everybody
get good,
watching this video right now,
In Sleeper, please unblock Dave.
Yeah, screw Sleeper.
They blocked Dave because he said
They couldn't take
MFL.
criticism. It was trash. I trashed him on Twitter, and they got tired of it. I did it so much that they blocked me.
Hey, all I gotta say is this.
Sleeper's soft. That's all I know.
Here, I gotta say with this. All y'all out there, and I posted this on Twitter, and I got some kickback by some pretty big names on the Twitter app, on the X app. I put out there, when y'all put polls out there and y'all put your trade things and you want to get it retweeted, why don't you go ahead and tag Sleeper? Because they won't do
MFL
it.
redoes it every time.
But y'all do it for MFL every time, but you don't use their site. All I gotta say is, who's the real G? That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
Sleeper
MFL
don't do
is
that.
always my. If MFL could just step up a little bit, man.
I personally love how like people will screenshot their Sleeper trades and then tag MFL, and
Push them on
MFL will still
MFL.
retweet it.
I did that. I said that on Twitter last year, and I got kicked back by a bunch of these top guys. Like, oh, well, just play the game. I'm like, well, Sleeper, you guys are trashing MFL.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I got trashed. It's all right. I get trashed all the time, dude. All the time. Anyway,
big pop star.
I'm a superstar, man. So how do you start a Sleeper league? How do we start one? How do we get introduced into a league?
So, I mean, the most important thing is to find committed players. You don't want to get a bunch of people together that are like, yeah, let's do this. They have that startup fever. They see it on Twitter. They're like, oh, yeah, let's do a Dynasty league. And you do the draft, and then all of a sudden they're just like, I don't really care anymore. Like, do a mock draft at that point. Like, don't do an actual league. But you got to definitely find committed players. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to find 75% of the people that want to play and then 25% drop out as soon as the draft is over. And we're going to talk about ways to reduce that from happening and creating different orphans when we get down to a little bit further. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing to me is to find those committed players that want to actually play Dynasty.
And there are ways to find committed players, because someone probably watching us now is like, how do I find a committed player? Where do I go? Just go anywhere. Go to our Discord. You can join our Discord. We always have spots open. Or if you join our Discord, we have other players like you that want to start a Dynasty. You guys are all committed. You actually made the commitment to join a Discord, whether it be ours or, football guys or anyone else out there. Find a group like the football, Dynasty nerds, all them guys. Just find a good group. Say, hey, I want to do a startup, $50, whatever it may be, the buy-in. Here's the rules, and yeah, you'll get committed players. Problem is, honestly, you join too many, you get in too many, you get overwhelmed. We've been there. I'm in like a million leagues. Dave's been in a million leagues. Justin, you're just now joining. Our producer Jacob is like, I'm down for an auction today. Like, he was all for it. Like, damn, Jacob, chill. But what happens is then you start dropping out and you start dropping leagues. So just be very picky where you join. Just because someone has an orphan, just because someone has an opening, you don't have to join every single one. And a lot of people, when you're new in a Dynasty, you love it. You think it's so fun. But then on game day, on Sunday at 12:50, you're leaving in T. Higgins when he's hurt. You're leaving in this because you have. It happens to me still. It still happens to me. So it's going to happen to you too.
I think that's where Sleeper also helps too, because when you're about to start a game, it'll tell you, hey, like you're about to start this injured player, which is nice if you have notifications turned on. But a lot of people turn off the notifications because it gives you a lot of notifications. That's the problem.
Yeah,
because it's a social media app that you can also play fantasy football on. So
the worst, you're watching football, Rashad White scores, blah blah blah, and you're like, what? That's like. They're not even crossed the 50-yard line yet. Sleeper spoils. If you have them on your team, they spoil the scores for you if you don't turn notifications off.
That's true.
Much like
if it's like one of your fantasy guys.
No, if I'm watching Red Zone, bro.
I know, but I'm saying if like your fantasy guy, you have him in your lineup.
Yeah, I know.
One of your lineup, he gets. He had a 48-yard touchdown catch. Yeah,
it's oh, thanks, Sleeper.
You can change those notifications on what you actually.
But yeah, you can take just those off and still get the
I've done that because once I added like my fifth or sixth league on there, I was like, I cannot do a notification about every single play that's happening in every single game. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so finding committed players is the biggest thing. Yeah.
And if you notice, and make sure the rules are right, make sure everyone has rules are everything, right? when you join, people leave leagues because of rules. It's happened multiple times. We had one leave my league because of a rule. I know that I wanted to leave leagues because of rules. I'm in a league right now that they don't have a tight end and they only have 10 players and they won't expand to 12. I want to leave that league because the rules suck, but I'm not going to leave people behind. I joined that league and I got people actually into that league. But make sure you know what you're signing up for. Don't just go, yeah, I'm in. And then when you find out you have to cut roster limits or you can't, trade 3 years ahead of time in future picks, that really makes people upset and they leave leagues because of that. So make sure you know what you're doing before you join a league.
Yeah.
There you go. So what's an orphan? What is an orphan? What does it mean? How do you make sure you're joining a committed league that has an orphan there? And how do you handle it? Dave, you've had a lot of orphans to fill in your life.
An orphan is basically when someone quits on you, like the punk ass bitch that they are.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yep, shots fired. So an orphan is when somebody leaves your team hanging and now you have to find someone to, replace them. And it's usually it's not like the most difficult thing ever. But again, do you want to find the right, like you don't want to just let anybody in your league because that guy might quit on you in a year or two and then you're doing the same thing. So when you find it, when you do have an orphan, you gotta, as the commissioner, you have to find the right people.
Yeah, you also don't want to just fill it with somebody that is going to just argue with everyone and be a total nuisance. Done that. I think things are starting to settle down from that a year into it. But yeah, I mean, you want to find cool people to add, not just you can add random people, but I like to add people that I already know, I've already vetted, that people are going to get along with.
Yep. And just like Rick says in the chat, make sure you have a great communication platform when you join these leagues, everyone. It's massive. We use GroupMe, but we're actually moving away from GroupMe to Sleeper because Sleeper has a chat right there. Something, again, they have over MFL. That's obviously perfect. You can post polls in there. You can post. It's just great to have communication, especially if you're new in a league. I joined as an orphan last year in a Devi. I never done a Devi draft in my life.
Oh, you were new to Devi also.
Last year, yes.
Yeah, same.
And I drafted this Nicholas Singleton kid. No idea who he is. Can't wait till he's awesome. Right. And then anyway, I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have communication with the league. I just wouldn't know what to do, how to handle this league, how to handle, whatever. But as a commissioner of 2 leagues, I had to find some orphans because I had some words that I can't say on this because it's a PG show. I had some people leave, and I did put a post out there on Twitter, on X, and a lot of people either trashed me because my rules sucked or told me like, hey, I want to join. I went through their profile real quick. I saw their page. I saw what they stand for, how many, whatever. Like I saw, like, are they committed? Yada, yada, yada. Do I know them? Do they follow me? Have we ever communicated before? Because I don't want to just get a stranger in my team. I had a listener actually come and ask me to join. That listener's here every single week, so he's now a part of our league. Because I know him, I could trust him. I don't want to fill, because I don't want to fill the spot next year. I just don't. And it's really stressful when you just get a random guy who doesn't answer. Hey, PayPal or League Safe. Hey, your leagues are due. I have a guy right now in my league. I DM him every single day. No response. Hasn't read it. That's a guy I might have to kick because I don't get a response. Invite people. I will boot him.
And if you're really desperate, post on Twitter the roster and then say I need a filler, and then tag MFL.
Don't tag Sleeper. They won't share it.
Don't tag Sleeper. They definitely will not share it. But you'll get a bunch of responses there. You just have to then start vetting people out. Posting on social media in general to your own followers. At least you kind of interact with them every now and then, and maybe you actually might get a response out of that too. So that does help.
All right, so let's get into the roster settings, how we like to construct our dynasty, how many players, what's a good size, what's too many, what's too little, how many IR spots. So let's go right into the middle. Dave, right off the bat, do we use kickers and defenses in Dynasty?
Why would you even ask that question?
All right, move on. No, we do not.
The answer is no.
I do not, but we've had them before in the past, way back in the day. We actually had someone trade a freaking future first for a defense.
It was ridiculous.
He didn't last in the league.
Of course not.
I will admit my home league, which is a dynasty league with all my family members, has kickers and defenses, and I have been working for like 3 years to try to get kickers and defenses out of there, and they just will not get rid of a kicker and defense. I'm like,
Hey,
they serve no purpose on a dynasty roster. By the
if
time you get to next year, you're gonna pick a new one.
exactly, I was going to make that point. Every league is different, but this is the difference between a positional player like a Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb compared to a defense, a position. That Patriots defense or whatever that was number one last year, their defensive coordinator could have been hired to be a head coach. They could have lost a lot of players of free agency, trade, retirement. It's not the same team. So it's really kind of pointless to keep that on your dynasty team, your dynasty roster, when you're just going to still stream every single week. Doesn't make sense.
The only way I would add defense to a dynasty is if you do IDP. Because then you're actually investing in that player, not just a team's defense.
Got it. So what's a good roster size? 20, 25, 30, 35? Dave, how many?
Ours are 25. I've been in one with 30. It's the worst. It's the like you got. There were people who had retired players on the roster because there's nobody on the waiver wire. It's the worst. Like literally, like think about our league with 25 players. Who's the best player that just went through waivers? I picked up Jaheim Bell, like just because I think I had a guy to cut. Like that's what I'm saying. Like any more than 25, I don't know what you're doing unless you're doing like I know some of these Devy leagues where you can put guys on, some kind of a taxi squad. Cool, I guess, or whatever. But 25 is plenty to me. Any more than that, and you're just, I don't know. I don't know the point. I don't get the point of it, but. Whatever.
Well, I'm gonna ask Justin that. Like, what's the point of having these large rosters and having less people on the waivers? Like, is there a competitive advantage? Is there something that maybe you can do better than someone else with this large roster?
I think this is where your analysis gets really big into it. Is you want a larger roster, so you're not just drafting all these rookies and go, well, they're not a starter this year, so let's just drop them. Because you have a small bench, by having a larger bench of like 10, 15, 18 people, you're allowed to keep these guys and stash them for 2-3 years on your bench to then become a starter in the future. And you already have them because you drafted them their rookie season, but maybe they don't pop off until year 3 or 4 for them. So it is better to have more roster spots. I played in a dynasty league, my very first one. We had 6 bench spots, and that was a redraft league. It was a keeper league where you keep your entire roster instead. It was so stupid. And I kept saying, we need to bump this up. We got to bump this up. And they kept pushing back and that league folded. So as far as making a competitive advantage, like I do think it does make waivers more competitive, but you want to find that balance so that there are players on the waivers, but not a ton of players on the waivers. If they're every week, there's 2 or 3 guys that everybody's going for, that makes the waiver wire so much better because then you're actually actively trying to go get guys. You're not just like, whatever, I'll just pick them up on free agency.
Yeah, I want everything you just said. It makes perfect sense. No, IR spots are very controversial, especially in most of my leagues. I like to carry 5 for Dynasty. No more, no less. 5 is perfect. We used to be at 2, and it was hard. It's hard because it's your dynasty team, and when a player is hurt and he's hurt, in week 1, like J.K. Dobbins, and then all of a sudden you're running out of spots because another guy gets hurt. 5 is the right number because think about this, and no one ever brings this up. When you play redraft, you have 2. Most leagues have 2, maybe 1, right? You only have 12, 13, 14 players on that team, and you have 2 for 4. You have 2 roster spots for 14 slots on your team. We have 25. We still only have 2. How does that make sense in any world? You need to actually up it up. That's why it's 5, because you double it plus the extra 1 to account for the 25. That's my brain working. Am I wrong on this, Justin, Dave? Like, seriously, am I crazy? How does no one? I get arguments all the time. 5's too many. Are you guys in any leagues where there's less than 5?
I think it depends on who you allow in your IR as well, because there's some leagues that they allow questionable players into their IR, which is stupid. Out okay, but like IR is IR. Like, and I'm kind of torn still. Like, yeah, add out people on there if you have a smaller bench, but really because you have such a deep bench, just put IR people on there. But that's me.
I
don't know how you guys feel
disagree.
about that.
I think out players should go on IR as well. I actually have a league where we could put suspended players on there.
I do both. I like having out. I'm okay with out. At least is there at least out? I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. IR, obviously. Suspended players, obviously. I mean, I wouldn't say that's I've had pushback on that, and that's fine. To me, it's like if a guy gets suspended in real life, he still goes on he's still on your team. You don't have to make room for him. He goes on the suspended list. So to me, it's the same as the IR. You can debate it if you want. It is what it is. I just feel like it makes a little bit of sense. So, and I think I was in a league one time that had unlimited IR spots. You can have as many guys on there as you wanted. And that roster already had that league had 30 or 31 roster spots. So there wasn't anybody out there to pick up. But if you wanted to, you could have 10 guys on your IR.
Yep. I got a request to read these last 2 comments by Anthony. He's here every week. Let me do it. So Anthony's first comment was, that's a question you would think it would make sense to draft a defense or a kicker because sometimes they get the most points in fantasy. Good luck trying to find out when those weeks are, and good luck trying to keep up the consecutive weeks of them scoring the most in fantasy. They just don't belong because
you literally have to stream them. There was one year that I was streaming kickers based off of where they were playing. Was it raining? Was it going to be windy at the game? And that was way too much. Then you got to think about defenses and what offenses are they playing that week. Like,
that's fine to think about. It's just the perfect point is they change year to year. There's nothing dynasty, nothing. A kicker and defense doesn't scream dynasty because they're so interchangeable. That's all. And the next one is I can't remember the website I was on, but I was passing through some dynasty leagues, and they have settings where each position has 5 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 15 receivers, 5 tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of players on our leagues because you need to stash them. Backup quarterbacks. If you're playing a super flex, if you have Mahomes, you want his backup if you have room.
I have 9 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, and that's smart. It's funny. Dave's in this league, the 2 quarterback league where I got Stroud and Herbert, and you share it with Fernie, the 10-team league.
I quit that league.
Okay, good. Because I want to too. But everyone trashed us for grabbing quarterbacks. Remember, everyone trashed us for grabbing quarterbacks. Everyone.
Yeah.
Now nobody has a quarterback, and
Good.
we have all the quarterbacks.
I know. Me and Chris had like 5 of them, and people were pissed about it. And I'm like, "Come trade for them," and they didn't want to give nothing up. Okay, that's fine.
They try to say we need limits because me and Dave had all the quarterbacks
because we're smart and we know that that's like the rules. It was like later in the draft. I remember me and Chris. I'm like, we're taking every quarterback left because it was like a bunch of trash.
I was so pissed.
Players. People were picking every single team. We took like quarterback, and then people.
That is something I learned.
So stupid. Oh, really? Because now you want one.
I learned that off of this show actually. Before I was on this show, that quarterbacks are valuable, especially in Superflex. A new startup that I did this year. There are teams that have 2 quarterbacks, 1 quarterback. And I'm like, it's a super flex, and I'm sitting here with 9. There's another team that has like 8, and then everybody else has like 1 or 2 because we took every quarterback we possibly could.
Smart.
Yeah, smart. All right, what's next? We got. Can you change rosters after the league starts?
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean, Justin?
So this is changing roster settings. So like, can you go from a non-super flex to a super flex one year? Like you just want to let's go super flex.
If you vote,
not overnight, but
if you vote, yes,
you have to vote.
But I almost want to even say like next year we're adding super flex. It'd be like, hey guys, it's 2024.
Yeah.
By the time we get to the 2026 rookie draft, we're doing super flex. Like, give us
a
full year.
It's in our league. Yeah, I did that. I wanted to expand it. Not everyone was in, but the vote passed. And I said, well, we're not, because you have to have time to plan for that. And I get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like 2 seasons later that we added it. But you can,
and I feel like in those leagues, like you need to have some kind of bylaws in place also for your league so that you can write in the bylaws, like on this date, we are switching to this setting. But that's really the only thing. Like I cannot see a commissioner just going in willy-nilly and like, all right, we're going to go ahead and add 2 wide receivers at a super flex spot. We're removing the tight end, and then here you go. Because that would be insane.
Not in a dynasty league. You can't make those changes.
No.
If your commissioner is doing that, that means he has an advantage, or he or she has an advantage, and they're trying to make a rule to suit their team. So fight back and make it. It has to be 2 years to prepare for that. All right, taxi squad. We touched on it a little bit earlier. What is a taxi squad? How many spots is good to have? And why is the taxi squad so important with rosters so deep? Dave, we are trying to change our league to a taxi squad league, and you are so against it. I want to know why you're against it.
Did you not just hear what I just said? That 30 roster spots is too many. That's it. I mean, that's basically it. It's going to water stuff down more. That's all.
Okay, so taxi squad is you draft a rookie, and then there's some leagues with rules where they can only stay on the taxi squad for 2 seasons. But some rules when they're on a taxi squad, and once they hit your roster, they can't go back. So it's basically when you draft a rookie, this is more for like 4th round picks, 3rd round picks, guys that you project players, right? Like a Jalen Wright this year, you're getting late 2nd, early 3rd. You might not need him on your roster now, but he's good to put on your taxi squad. I had Jerome Ford on a taxi squad last season. Turned out to be awesome. Turned out to be really awesome. So that's what it is. You get these guys like project rookies that you're not going to start. Lynn Bowdens, I could think of, or LaVisca Chenault, right? Those guys who you don't really need right away. Throw them on there. When they do get the opportunity to pop off, if they do, you can bring them from their taxi squad and bring them up to your main roster. It's kind of like a minor league baseball situation, right? Call up.
But you can't call them back down. You can't send them down.
Yeah, but you can't send them down. It's the minor league.
Yeah.
You're just holding them down.
You're redshirting the player, essentially, because once you pull them out of their red shirt, you can't put them back into a red shirt. So you can keep them there all season. And then most leagues will also have a deadline for when you can put players on your taxi. So most of them are the regular season, like the start of the regular season, you have to have your taxi squad set. So once the regular season starts, you can't add new players there, even if you do take somebody off. So if you end up taking all 4 of your taxi squad players off, that's all we get.
Yep. Anthony, we're going to get to Superflex, and snake drafts, whatever draft you're asking. We're going to get to that a little bit later, so we'll get there. Don't worry. We got the whole thing broken down. Justin,
we got so many.
It's going to be like a 5-hour show. Anyway, no. All right.
Not today. Like, we're not getting to those today.
Are we done?
No, we're talking about Dynasty today. So for Superflex, Superflex Dynasties, never mind. Okay, never mind. We're getting there.
We're getting there. All right. So the next segment is buy-in. Like, it's important to have a buy-in, a prize for you to actually play this. Why are we playing the game? I play in a lot of free leagues, guys. Not necessary, but a prize is nice to have. Like, what's a good prize pool for you guys in a Dynasty league?
Honestly, my favorite Dynasty leagues are the $25 buy-ins because it's low stakes enough. I'm like, yeah, here's $25. And if I lose it, I lose it. I hate, like, I can only do so many $50 leagues, and I don't do any $100 leagues, I'll be honest with you. But I think also it's important when you're budgeting for fantasy football every year to give yourself a limit. Like, this is all I'm spending. And once you spend that much money, then just be done. But yeah, to me, $25 is good. I think $50 is really like the standard. But
yep. So how to collect payments. So if you know people, obviously, if you were on Twitter, by the way, about 3 months ago, you learned the lesson. Do not use Venmo or Cash App or PayPal or Zelle to a complete stranger, because there are scumbags out there, not naming any names. If you know, you know, there are scumbags out there that just won't, they just disappear. They go ghost. This can even happen in your home league. So I use League Safe, even though some people don't like the fees. Spoiler alert or pro tip, if you use Venmo to pay your League Safe, there's no fee.
First of all, you're welcome for that.
Dave told me that.
I learned that this year, actually. I was like, oh, I don't have to pay the 3% fee this year. Okay.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty nice.
By the way, Rick, good stashes over there. Jaheim Bell and your taxi squad. See, Dave, that's the advantage of having a taxi squad.
What's the difference in having 25 and 5 or 30? So you can say you put a rookie on there only? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that's.
I know. I get your point.
It doesn't matter whether it's 25 or 30, but whatever.
I get.
I do want to go why it's important to have a buy-in. Because I'm actually dealing with this right now. Last year, I joined a league. We were like, yeah, $25 buy-in. We'll play this. Nothing was collected. Our commissioner was not the greatest. Never collected anything at all. And now the league is just like, do we want to play? And I'm like, it's a dynasty, but like, I don't want to commit to something where like nobody else is committed to, because playing in a league where 3 people are the most committed players and everybody else is just like whatever kind of sucks.
I will
So
say
having
though,
some kind of stake in it helps.
the buy-ins, obviously you want to win the money, right? But that's not what fantasy is about in the long run for most players. There's a lot of, you guys would be surprised, there's a lot of players that don't play for anything. I'm in a league with Twitter folks that are known on Twitter, folks. Like they're known people, and it's free. It's a free league, and it's the most competitive. Like we trade, like it's bananas because we all want to win, but there's no prize. There's no prize. There's no nothing except for winning, and that sounds weird. Trust me, because all my leagues are buy-in leagues. I'm in three free dynasty leagues, and those leagues are fun. But as long as you all know that it's free, and you're all just playing to have fun with each other.
Well, you can incentivize it in other ways. Like my home league is a free league, but we have a trophy, and it gets passed around from year to year on who wins it. So that's kind of nice. And our family is very competitive. We compete about bowling on Christmas and everything else like normal families do. But so we just have a trophy for that, and that makes it worth it.
All right. Now, this next step is important. This next thing about payments is very important. Some leagues enforce it. I do not. I don't enforce this rule, but on your initial startup draft, you want committed players. You don't want someone in there drafting a redraft awesome team and then saying, all right, I won the championship. Peace. Collect the first year and the second year payments up front before the draft. That means they have to be committed for another year at least. And that means they won't just drop it and get a refund. This is a non-refundable. You pay for the first year and second year, especially with strangers, people you meet on the internet, Reddit, Discord apps, whatever it may be. It just keeps everyone in line. Oh, shoot, I already paid my next year's fees. I'm in it. I'm in it for the long run. And it's actually nice for the commissioner because now they know they don't have to go find an orphan. And if they do have to find an orphan and they have to boot this guy or this guy quits, the money's already in there, not just making the bylaws non-refundable. Second year has to be paid as well.
Yeah, I just started a league this year that I incorporated a rule where if you trade a future draft pick, you have to pay for that year right now. You have 1 week to make that to buy in for that future year, and if you don't, then the trade's getting reversed. Something's happening, but you're going to lose that pick in general. Something's happening to your roster. But yeah, if you make any future picks, you have to buy in, and we've had people doing that all so far. Like I think that has already made 75% of our league coming back for next year because we've already traded future picks.
That's awesome. That's a good thing because I know a lot of guys. Dave, we got a guy. He don't have a pick till 2026.
They love trading them picks.
Yeah. So do you. So do I.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot.
All right. Draft. How do we set up the draft? There's so many. There's slow drafts, standard drafts, like as in right there, like what we normally do for redrafts, auctions, timers. There's so much going on with the draft. So how do you like your draft? Fast or slow? I'll go with Dave first.
No, don't come to me right now.
I'll go to Justin first.
I used to be a fan of the fast draft. I wanted to get it all done right then and there, but again, the show has introduced me to bigger and better things. The slow draft, in my opinion, is the most ideal draft. You guys are probably gonna say auction. I've never done an auction draft. That's just me. I have not done an auction draft yet. So
it's the only way to do it.
Listen, I don't pound the table for much. Only a couple things, and they all come true. You do not do a snake draft in a dynasty. It is negligent. It is stupid. It's irresponsible. It's unfair. Why should a random football 100-yard dash app or a random luck of the draw or spin of the wheel decide that you get the first pick, that you get to control the entire draft? You can have people trade out for that pick. Why does it? People tell me all the time, Josh, you just do a snake draft. You could just trade for whoever you want. You could do this. You could do that. Again, it's unfair that a randomizer decided that first order. In an auction league, you all have a set amount of money, a set amount of funds, the same player pool. The only thing that you can control is who you nominate and when you nominate. And that's a huge strategy that we got to get into in a whole different show. but it gives everyone the opportunity to get whoever they want with no penalty, with no, I got to give up a future first to trade up. I got to do this. That's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. And if you still do snake drafts in 2024, you're a coward and you need to man up. So I'm not fucking clip this shit. You need to do auctions and become a fucking man because that's the only way to draft. It's fucking bullshit that you tell me that, oh, you want Justin Jefferson? Well, you got to go make a move for him. Fuck that. Why? Because the goddamn spinning wheel told me that you get 102? Bullshit. We all should have $400.
What is happening right now?
When did you become Dave?
You just went on a crazy rant.
I'm upset when people tell me that you can still get whoever you want in a snake. No, you can't. And if you do, you have to give up something for it. And for why? Why? Because some system told me I have 112 and you have 108? Why? When we could all have even playing ground on a dynasty that we're going to be playing forever on. This is supposed to be forever. So why can't you go grab whoever you want, pay whatever you want for this person without giving up next year's draft capital or this year's draft capital? We should all have the same opportunity to start off fresh and spend our money the way we want to spend our money and get the players we want.
Mic drop. Boom. Where's the explosion right now?
This was like Dave's Justin Fields rant, except your internet didn't cut out, so that was great.
I'm not even like, it's not even a joke. I'm being dead ass serious, man.
I've never done an auction draft just because nobody I've done a Dynasty League startup with has done an auction draft. So
it's so much fun.
Because
you're literally in on every single player.
I guess I need to just be in another Dynasty League.
People are like, oh, you just nominate, yada, yada. No, there's 12 players on the fucking board. You're putting up like, oh, there's 3 running backs on the board. All right, I'm going to
which one you want.
Well, hold on. I'm going to cause some chaos. It's my turn to nominate. I'm going to throw another running back out so they all flock to that one. And then you can make your move on the one they forgot. You know, it's just so much strategy in the auction that nobody knows about. Nobody even thinks about.
So fun.
It's just the
all
best.
Right. I'm starting another dynasty.
Like once you do one, you're gonna want to do only.
But when after the startup, like when you go to the rookie draft, what do you do? Like you don't do auction for that though, do you?
There can be, but we don't. We just do snake.
Okay. I did one time, and it was hard. It was hard. Yeah, because each draft pick basically had a dollar amount. So whether you still had draft picks, but wherever you finished, you got a certain amount for each whatever pick you had. And then you had to go through all the rookies. It was a lot harder and different.
I was recently talking to somebody in a league where they also included rookie picks into their auction draft where you could.
We do that. Okay. Yep. It's funny to see 101 go for like way more than Mahomes or like Josh Allen. It's hilarious.
Crazy.
Everybody wants the new shiny toys. So
that's how we dominate auctions. Anyway, all
right, we're starting a Dynasty League tonight.
We're most likely gonna get one done because Jacob knows about it. He's in. He liked my comment. He's in. Jacob's producer's in. Dave's in. I'm in.
Don't put me in there yet.
Dave, you're in. You liked it. You liked my comment.
I know I didn't. I actually didn't like it on purpose.
No.
Where was the comment?
It's in our one of our
one of our other chats that you're not in.
We're in 2 leagues run by the freaking Balsamos, and they're tanking both. Don't
give those guys any airtime.
You're right. I love you. I love those guys. But still, they tank every league they're ever in. Don't invite them in your leagues.
Trash.
They'll most likely be in
dirty Italians.
We're gonna get canceled because of that one. Piece of shit.
Oh, like that's the worst thing I've ever said.
Lately, yeah. All right. Good. So when we do a startup draft, if we're doing any draft, it doesn't matter. Do we add rookies into that big startup draft? There's 2 ways to do it. We just spoke about it. You can draft rookie slots. You can put the draft, or you can just draft rookies, or you can have 2 separates where you can have 1 veteran draft, and then after that, 1 rookie draft. Those are the ways to do it. I like them all. I've done them all. The way I like to do it is I like to draft my rookie pick. So if I want to stock load 101, 102, like I'll go pay for those. That's the way I like to do it. But a lot of people like the difference of like actually having the rookies in there.
A league, a league I just started. They were wondering how we're going to do the rookie draft. And so something that I had done because we didn't include rookies into the startup, which we could have and just eliminated this whole issue. I did that, and then I put all of our rosters through like 3 rankers, took the average, and then the worst team got the first pick, and the best team got the 12th pick, and that's just how the rookie draft ended. For that, did a whole YouTube reveal on draft picks and all that stuff too. So it was a cool production there, but something you could think about. But yeah, I hate when it's just like, all right, pick 1 now has pick 12 in the rookie draft, and pick 12 has pick 1, because the people in the middle still get screwed no matter what. So
that's true. So we, how many rounds depends on your roster. We always say 25 roster. That's what we like. So 25 round draft. If you do an auction, of course, the budget, depending on what you want, it doesn't matter what your budget is, right? It's going to be, you base that on percentage. So if your budget's 1,000, doesn't matter if your budget's 100, you're still going to spend that same amount of percentage on that player. Just depends. We like to do 400. 400 is a good number, I believe. And use MFL for an auction if you do auctions, and then move your league to sleeper afterwards. All right, segment 7. We got a trade deadline. Should there be trade deadlines in Dynasty?
No.
I disagree. I disagree.
Tell us about it.
I also disagree, actually.
Okay. Trade deadline for playoff teams should start when the playoffs start. Playoff teams should not be able to trade with. That's a deadline.
Different.
That's a deadline.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you.
That's the only thing I think on. Once the playoffs start, playoff teams cannot trade with non-playoff teams.
I agree.
And then once you're eliminated with them from the playoffs, you can now start trading with non-playoff teams. Non-playoff teams can trade whenever they want. I don't think there should be a deadline. Deadlines are stupid.
I agree.
Except for playoff
I like
teams.
that. The only thing I would add there is after the season, I like to include like a no trade zone until people are completely paid up for the next year. Because nothing like somebody finishing out a season and going, here's all my assets, I'm out of here. Because that is the worst.
After the championship, lock everyone until they pay, unless you actually, it's like home league.
Or if you have a bylaws, start a date, like this is the date where everybody gets activated, but you also all have to have paid by then. So
all right. Last but not least, I believe a waiver wire system. What is Fab? I believe we all know what Fab is, but for the new viewers, the new Dynasty players, the new fantasy players, what is Fab? And why is it called Fab?
Do you know what it stands for?
Free agent acquisition budget, but it shouldn't be. Because they're on waivers, it should be WAB, waiver acquisition. Because if they're free agents, they're free, and you don't have to claim them on waivers.
You're not wrong. It is the wrong acronym, but
I know.
No, they're technically free agents, but they're on.
No, they're
waivers.
not. No, they're on
Waivers
waivers.
is a system. No, they're free agents. If you get cut in the NFL, you're a free agent, even though you're on waivers. Waivers is a system. If you want to be,
But it's a waiver. It's a waiver claim, not a Fab claim, not a free agent claim. So it should be WAB, waiver acquisition budget. Just like, do you say RBI or RBIs?
Everyone says RBIs.
I say RBI.
It's RBI. It's supposed to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
I don't run bats ins.
Shut up. Please, just shut up. I can't do this anymore.
He got 4 run bat ins.
No one's ever said that in their life.
If you say RBIs,
It's runs
RBI.
batted in.
Yeah, there's no S at the end. None.
I know that.
So it should be RBI, not RBIs.
We know that. We technically understand that. Nobody's arguing that.
Justin can't wrap his head around it. I see it. He's like, what do you
know, he's looking at how stupid he's
Justin's like,
no,
it's RBI.
I'm actually trying to find a better acronym for the waiver acquisition something, but I needed a P word at the end, not a B.
Anyway, Fab is money you get a set amount. Everyone gets like $100 for the season. If you want a player from waivers, you put in a bid, whether it be $0. Make sure you set your Fab to, you can put $0 bids. It's very important because you can run out of Fab and you have 0 and then you can't claim someone. Make sure it's always zeroed out. And you can spend 1, 2, 3, up to as much as you want on this player, instead of actually a system where it's first, second, third, fourth. That system's so lame, outdated. Everyone should be on Fab by now. Did I explain that correctly?
You're an idiot.
We're not going to talk about rolling waivers. I don't want to. It's useless. If you use them, grow up. Yeah. Same.
If
you use
we
them,
just talked about it. I mean,
if you use them, you probably snake draft as well.
Yeah.
You probably auto drafted it.
Didn't we already figure out how to find 11 other people?
Yes.
Yeah, we already went through that. Just go on the internet like you do for.
Hey, Rick made a good point in the chat, and that's true. Spin fab early, especially in dynasty leagues.
Heck yeah.
Especially in dynasty leagues, because
we just saw somebody in a $500 budget league where they just spent $501 on a player today. So on the first waiver run.
Who the heck is on the waivers that would be worth all of their money?
Who'd they buy? They got
the
tight end from they got the tight end from
Eric All?
Yeah, Eric All from Cincinnati.
Who is that? He needs to
Eric
spend all of his fab
he's
on it.
He's a $500 man, baby.
$501.
Hey.
The next two bids were $15 and $10.
So Puka last year was a 4th round pick in most Superflex rookie drafts. Most. Some he went in 3rd, but honestly, most 4th. Some undrafted. So if he was on the wire, or like Eli Mitchell that one year where he went off 2 years ago, spin your fab early, because when these guys pop off, they usually pop off for a reason. And if they fail, that's okay. There's not a lot of guys out there that could potentially pop off in a dynasty league. We're all in these leagues with 25-man rosters. There's 12 teams. The pools, man, it's thin out there. So if you see someone pop off, especially early, just go all in. Go all in. There's no risk, because later on, yes, someone's going to have more money, but they didn't use it. And you miss out on Puka.
Use it or lose it.
I'll
I didn't
trade
trust Puka.
I know you didn't trust Puka. I traded Puka for Garrett Wilson. I traded Garrett Wilson for Puka. And you said I was stupid. You said I was stupid.
I did say you're stupid.
No, it was
that was okay.
It was week. It was after week one. After week one, when Aaron Rodgers went down, I said, I'm not dealing with fucking Zach Wilson again. I'm not dealing with it. So I traded Garrett Wilson straight up for Puka. It paid off. Bazinga. I don't watch Big Bang Theory. All right, guys, that's it, man. What?
Play your music.
I did.
Okay.
You didn't hear that? Justin, I'm on top of it.
My bad.
Do you not hear it?
No, it's coming back. It starts quiet.
It starts. See, don't question me. I know what I'm doing. I'm the host of this show. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this is informative, funny. I hope you learned something, right? Dynasty is a great game we play. I hope everyone gets involved. I hope everyone actually has a league going on right now. If you don't, join our Discord. It's in the bio and it's in the link below. Make sure you follow us on all of our socials. OUSFF Pod. Make sure you check out our website, OUSFF Pod. Make sure you check out our shorts. We got some coming up this week. Justin, anything else you want to promote? Dave, you got nothing. So we're going to get on out of here. Subscribe. OnlyFans. We're out of here.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.